Hello everyone, today's video is going to focus on reading and how it makes me feel, perhaps you and athletes feel. So I got this idea from Jacob because he was telling me that he read an article about Wembanyama that said that he reads every single night before bed, or he sets aside time to read every single night before bed. And then it reminded him of me, and I was equally flattered and inspired by that. So without getting too, sentimental about why I love reading so much, I think that in a more broader sense, something that I love to romanticize is the shared spaces that we have access to in our lives, because we can all just, it's fun that we all listen to the same music, or we have the same experience listening to the same music, or we can read the same books of people that we admire or we love. So that's one of the really cool things that I love about reading. But in a more practical sense, I found a BiblioLife article that listed the following ways that reading can help you. So number 1 is it can improve your memory. 2 is it can increase your focus and concentration. 3 is it can reduce stress levels. 4 is it can enhance empathy and creativity. And 5 is it can provide better cognitive function. And I can see how any of the reasons provided could benefit athletes as is, but instead of just making a baseless claim, I read some more articles, looked into it more to see if or how reading can help athletes, and those articles were like, yep, you are correct. So instead of repeating myself, I curated a list of books that are influenced by various sports figures and their recommendations. And I thought that it would be fun to have a hypothetical book club that you all can be a part of if you wish. And I landed on the name the Ballistic Book Club because I think it's a fun play on words and because I didn't want to think too hard on it. So I think I like this name. But without further ado, I wanted to get into that list of books. So the first book I have on our list is called A Most Beautiful Thing by R.J. Cooper. So before I started researching for this video, I actually sincerely thought that I was the first person to think of this idea, but Steph Curry has beat me to it once again. So I picked this book from his list, from his book club, and A Most Beautiful Thing is an autobiography that details the rise of America's first all-black high school rowing team. And I chose it without even knowing that. I just really thought the name was pretty, and I'm excited to learn something new. So there's that. The second book I have on our list is called Red and Me by Bill Russell. I was reading a Scholastic article that introduced me to this book, and also a term that I had never heard of called a book print. A book print is 5 books that you feel have influenced your life in some way, shape, or form. And so for Kevin Durant, that was one of those books. And the book was described by the Times as Bill Russell's memoir of his coach, Red Auerbach, and it records a friendship of mutual understanding that transcended basketball. I was drawn to it because obviously it's by the late, great Bill Russell, but also because I didn't love the last Basketball Legends book that I read. And it was Dr. J's. I'm sorry to him. I know that he's watching this. But I'm hopeful that this book will be a nice reintroduction of that niche memoir genre, and I'm excited to just give that another try. I was planning to anyways, but now I have even more reasons to. So the third book I have decided to include is one I've actually already read, but I just want to put it out there for those who haven't, called One Life by Megan Rapinoe. I read this book about 2 years ago. And something I really like about it is how self-aware and genuine it is. I think that if you're a fan of her or you're not, it's just one of those books that's for everyone. I think it's a good read. So add that to your list, if you will. The fourth book I've decided to include on our list is called Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, which is a father's letter to his son, preparing him for the world he will one day face. I got this book recommendation from a 2017 Long Reads article that listed books that Popovich planned to read during his downtime that season. So I'm not even sure if he read it. I probably could do an extra Google search to figure that out, but I'm just going to pretend for now that I don't have access to that. So I'm excited to read anything that Popovich finds interesting. I feel like I'm an avid consumer of all things Spurs or all things pro Popovich, so I think that this will be a very educational read based on him. And last but not least, I decided to include the Hunger Games trilogy, and I did this because I'm a big fan of the pictures of LeBron reading the books before the finals. I actually have one of them as my Goodreads profile picture. But in summary, this trilogy is Katniss Everdeen's tale of a dominating capital and the mistreated 12 districts. Yearly, each district is forced to send a boy and a girl between the ages of 12 to 18 called tributes to fight to the death in an annual Hunger Games. I read some fiction this summer. That was fun, and I normally gravitate towards nonfiction, but because I had such a good time reading fiction this summer, I was like, you know what, let's just keep this going. I should broaden my fiction horizons by reading fantasy, and I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, the entire series, in September, and I didn't like it. And I'm really happy everyone else is having a really great time, but I'm unfortunately not one of those people. But I don't want to just throw fantasy at the curb. I'm willing to give them another shot, and I think that this is the perfect opportunity and a much more friendly, less intense, heavy reading experience for me to try instead of reading 600 pages every single book, which isn't the reason I didn't like it, but that's for another time. So that concludes my list and my video. If you do actually want to talk about these books, or if you happen to read them, that would be fun to talk about, so you could reach out to me. But if not, that's also okay. And thank you for listening to me talk, and thank you for watching, and I will see you again someday. Bye!